Okay. In last session, we tested how to load the items data into application by using FPDA templates. So prior to that, we completed the basic setups which are required within the inventory application. Okay, or say product hub or product information management. So I think we left with the categories concept. We created templates and other definitions, but category definitions we didn't perform. But still, I mean, we were able to create the items and we associated that template. Since this is a vision instance, there are few predefined templates are available. That's how we were able to complete those setups. Anyway, that part of transaction process, those need to be selected. So we'll complete that, then we'll go ahead with the understanding about the transactions which you can perform within the inventory. Okay, we'll see categories concept. So what is the purpose of category? Why we use categories in EBS or in very generic? If you go with some generalization, what is the purpose we go with the category concept? What is the use of categorizing something?
To segregate the items.
To segregate. So you can segregate and it would be very easy for us to manage. Based on that segregation, you can set up certain rules and controls, how you want to go with accounting or many other areas. You can take the advantage of categorizing something. Okay. And that's all about meaning of category. Okay. Category means it's all about grouping. If you talk about inventory point of view, it's all about grouping the items we call as category. When you are grouping, ideally we just group the items which are very much similar. Okay, very much similar. So simply we can say category is nothing but some collection of items, okay, which are similar. Fine. Okay, the similar items we can group, that we can call as category. And what is the meaning of catalog? What do you mean by catalog? These are very generic terms which we come across in procurement or purchasing or in the real world. We just many cases we
Catalog
categorization.
Classification.
Class
List of items.
or category. See, yeah,
catalog.
yep. Items we are classifying that we are calling as categories. Categories you can classify that we can call as catalog. Okay. The categories classification only you can call as catalog. We are classifying the items that we are calling as categories. By classifying the items, we can create the categories. By classifying the categories, we can create the catalog. Simply, you can say this is catalog is nothing but collection of categories. Okay, collection of categories which are classified again. It's not like just we don't group. We don't group.
This is EBS concept only, right, Lakshman?
No, EBS only. Yes. Same. Okay. So we are not going to just group multiple categories since we have many categories. However, we are classifying the items into different categories based on the similarity. In the same way, if you have 100 categories, the 100 categories you may classify into maybe 5 or 10 catalogs, since that's how the similarity you can find. Okay. So within the categories, we can have items, similar items we can group, that we can call as category. The similar categories you can group into specific catalogs. Okay, you can create catalogs. That means category consists of similar items, catalog consists of similar categories. Fine. And again, this all we can maintain by following the hierarchy. We can build a hierarchy. We'll have a catalog. The catalog can consist of parent categories. Again, the parent category can have child categories. The child category can have some sub-child categories also. It totally depends on how we want to manage and organize the items information with this logic of category and catalog. It's all about logical segregation, logical classification to facilitate this items information in the system, to maintain and to manage in simple way. Okay, so let's take simple example. Let's take simple example. So say we are into sales, we are selling books, pens, desktops, laptops, cars and bikes. Now the first point is the very basic level classification we have to do for these items. These are the items. These are the items. Okay, the basic level classification. The basic level classification, how we can do. Okay, I can take classification as I can take the classification as, I mean, when you say books will have a multiple books, I'll take here just it's all about classification only, just it's a low level classification. So these, instead of calling as item, I'll say I'm not writing the item names. That is the reason I'll take the whatever the items we are dealing, this is a classification of item. Okay, classification of items. These you can say categories. The books, when you talk about books, the actual items are maybe Oracle books and .NET books and Java books. So these are the actual items. Okay, the same way like pens and desktops, that means brands, laptops and cars and bikes, all for every classification you can have respective item. These are the items. These are all items you can maintain by classifying as a books. Now you can say books is one category. Okay, books is one category. Under books you can maintain the different items, different books what you are in your inventory. The same way I can take cars as one category. Within that cars I can have a classification as, say, Honda cars, Audi, Bench. This is how, these are the items which we treat. Okay, this is a cars category. This is a books category. We are classifying. Same way for pens you can have a category. You can list out what are the brand pens you are selling. Desktops separate category, laptops separate category, bike separate category. So these are the categories. Classification. Items we are classifying, that we are calling as categories. Okay, classification is nothing but here simply category. Do you find similar categories here which you can group with the based on the similarity?
Yes, sir. Books and pens.
Books and
Okay.
no, I'm not talking about items. Item based on the similar items we are classifying, that we are calling as categories. When you look at these multiple categories, can you find some categories which are very close to categorize them?
Yeah,
Desktop
that's what you're saying.
desktop
Stationery,
laptops.
stationaries,
Exactly.
and computer stationery.
That's how the broad level classification you can give for books and pens. The books and pens you can take into the category called as stationery. That broad level classification only we call as catalog. So you can have a catalog called as stationery. Stationery, within the stationery you can have these two class categories. The stationery you can call as catalog. Catalog consists of categories. The same way for here, for rest of 4 categories you can classify into catalogs. What you can take as what? I can take, for desktops and laptops, I'll take classification as a computers. I'll treat computers as catalog. Within that computers catalog, we are going to have 2 categories. And cars and bikes, what classification, broad level classification we can give?
Vehicles.
Yeah, vehicles, or you can just treat it as automobiles, right? Automobiles. This is another catalog where I'm grouping the categories. So this is how you can segregate and maintain the items, the item related categories into catalogs. And you can maintain the hierarchy. We'll have a catalog, under catalog we'll have a categories, and again within the categories you can have some sub classification also. Okay, so for example, you take in here category, catalog is computers, okay, and along with that computers you are going to deal with many other products also. So in that case you may take computers, you may take as a category only. You may take computers as a category. On top of it you may have a catalog called as electronics. Electronics is catalog, and within the electronics you have a category called as computers. Within that some subcategories desktop, another subcategories laptops. Under subcategory called as desktops you can list out all the desktops which you are dealing. The same way laptops. That means we have a category, under category we can have, we have a catalog, under catalog we can have one or multiple categories. Under categories you can have some child categories if you want to maintain in that way. It's all about business decision, how they want to classify into items as a categories, and how they want to classify the categories as a another category, some hierarchy, child and parent categories, and how they want to group those categories into which catalogs based on their business and the items nature, and it falls into which uh, kind of process related and a kind of functional area. Depending on many other factors, these categories and category catalogs can be defined. Okay, so any questions here to understand this category and catalog concept? It's very simple to understand. Okay, So category means classifying the items. Catalogs means classifying the categories. Okay, can we have just category within the catalog? Yes. Can we have multiple categories within the catalog? Yes, we can have multiple. How we can have? With hierarchy or without hierarchy? Simply you may have one category. Within that you may have one category or two categories, three categories. Again, the one or two or three, whatever you are going to maintain the categories within the catalog, those can be directly maintained, or by following this kind of hierarchy also you can maintain. Okay, you can maintain the hierarchy. We'll see that. We'll create in the system so that we can understand more detail level. Any questions here to understand these points, please?
Lakshman, is there any limitation in hierarchy? Like how many levels I can
No,
run in
no.
hierarchy?
You can go with a big hierarchy. No limitation.
Hi, Lakshman.
But always,
I understood.
we'll try to
Yeah.
minimize the whatever the chain of the tree hierarchy which you are trying to create in the system. That will be very much easy for when we are going to manage those categories within the system process. We always try to simplify the creating those hierarchies. Even if you take example of chart of accounts which we created, chart of accounts, within the chart of accounts we can create up to 30 segments, but it's always good practice if you can have less number of segments. Hardly, if you look at any implementations, you don't see more than 10. In the very typical case, you may see 8, 9, 10. Most of the on and average, so most of the implementation they'll go up to 6, 7 or 8, including the buffer segments, future segments. The same practice is applicable here also. If business demands, definitely you have to go with the multiple levels of hierarchies. Always that would be best practice if you could minimize the levels of hierarchies when you are creating these categories within the catalog. Yeah, please go ahead. Somebody's having some question, I guess.
Yeah. So I understood the catalog and category. We saw the similar concept, right? Item class. Even over there, we were grouping the items based on the similarities. So
Yeah.
how are they these two concepts different?
So why we created item class? If you can look at that point, you can understand. What is the purpose we created
To
item class?
to create items.
To create item. This is categories, not to create items. Whatever the items we are creating, those belongs to which catalog. Within the catalog, those items belongs to which category. Just to classify those items into categories and catalogs, we require this. Okay.
We can create a similar structure in item class itself, right? I can have stationery. If I have similar kind of classification, I can.
1 second. In item class, with the help of item class, you are creating the items, not classifications. So those item classes you are creating to set the nature or controls. Say for example, you have this kind of catalogs and categories. Now how many categories you have? Say for example, these two are child categories. You can create one item class 1 for desktops. Okay, item class 2 for laptops. So when you are creating the desktops, what sort of item number is required, what unit of measurement you want to use, and to whom you want to give the access to create the items, desktop items, and what privileges they required, which templates access is required who are going to create the desktops. So all those specifications, and again which organization can have access, for which organizations desktops can be created, all the predefined rules you can set within the item class which are required for the category of desktops. Okay. For laptops also same rules you are going to implement. You no need to create two separate item classes. You can create only one item class called as computers. So this item class you will be using to create desktop items as well as laptop items. Clear? Item class to set up certain rules. Item class you may create very broad level or else very minute level. Okay. So item class I may create very broad level. I don't create item class for computers, one item class, automobiles, one item class, stationery, I won't create one item class. I'll create one item class called as ERP tree item class. So with the help of the same item class, I want to create stationery items and computer items and automobile classification of these cars, bikes and all. Will it work or not? Do you think that is the right practice? If yes, how? If no means why? The guys who has EBS knowledge or experience, they may answer to this question. Who are attending these classes as they are new to this Oracle application, like EBS Fusion, they can.
So
Yeah.
it will work, Lakshmanan. That is not a problem. But in the whatever the signal or number, yeah. So suppose the ERP tree item class high level we created. So that is one item class we created. So under this item class we are associating all the items.
We are not associating. With the help of this item class, we are going to create the items.
Right.
Those can point to any catalog or any category, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then how this item class can be used for different catalog based items, categories related items? What is the simple logic you can apply?
The item classification, even the numbering also we can identify the classification of items. Whereas that association of categories actually it involves on the requisitions, it involves on the planning. So everything goes in detail, one level down, the categorization.
Yes. Here, yeah, correct, agree. See, the simple point is I can have single item class, but based on the items which I am going to create, which falls under different categories, accordingly I can have a item templates. I can create the separate templates as per this category base or item base. So when I am using that item class to create the item, I'll select appropriate template. So that's how I can derive the required attributes. And other requirement could be I want to have unique numbering across all my items. I don't want to have the separate numbering for computer related classification of items and the automobiles and the stationery and all. Whatever the items I'm going to create, irrespective of the items or belongs to which category, I want to have unique numbering. In that case, I'll just create one item class. For that, I'll set the numbering. By using that item class, you will be selecting, when you are creating desktop related item, you will be selecting the same item class and you will be creating one so-and-so Dell desktop, and number system may take item number as 1. I'll be selecting appropriate template, which attributes we required for desktop item definition. I'll select accordingly, system will default those attributes and number system will trigger from the item class. I'll go and create one item called as, say, Honda City. When I'm creating the item, which is a car, I'll be using the same item class. For that, system will assign the number as a 2, since I'm using the same. For item called as car, which template we require based on the attributes which need to be associated, accordingly I'll be selecting the template. So these are the points we have to understand. Based on that, we can just classify, we can create how many item category classes they required, how the number they want to maintain. By taking the many factors into consideration, we have to design the solution. Okay, we know very well as a part of EBS who are working, just will present to that, will be based on their requirement, will understand their requirement, and will be suggesting the final decision. The approvals will be given by client how they want, accordingly will be helping by configuring the system as per their requirement, right? So this is how you can go with that. You can have one item class also, and you can just have a, based on the items which you are creating, you can maintain the templates accordingly, you can use, and you can just have a unique numbering, the very sequential numbering across all the items which you create. If you are going to have multiple categories, say you are going to have 4 categories, that means within the 4 categories, when you are creating the items, you are going to run the 4 different sequences, since categories are different. Sorry, item classes are different. I'm really sorry. Item classes are different. So this is a point we have to understand. Any other questions here, please?
Lakshman, like you are given a reference of like catalogs with the chart of accounts. If you look at chart of accounts, like once you define the chart of accounts, you cannot add, right? Once you implement it, you cannot add. You need to redefine everything. Is it same with the catalog, or can we add? Catalog?
That's totally different. Chart of account is one which you use as a part of primary ledger. When you talk about catalogs, you can have n number of catalogs. So if you don't want to, you created on catalog and you used, if you don't want to deal with that, you can set the end date and you can stop using, you can create new, you can associate. When you talk about item,
I'm talking about hierarchy for catalogs.
See, within the catalog, you can have hierarchy for categories. You'll have one catalog. Within that, you can have a hierarchy for categories which are part of catalog. Now, what is your question?
You indicated like in practice, like for chart of accounts, it's ideal to have.
Simple. Let me make answer is very simple. Within the catalog, what are the categories you have with the different hierarchies? Those categories hierarchies you can change. Okay. Now I can make desktop as parent to computers also, or laptop as parent to desktop, or else this desktop and laptops, what are the categories we have within the computers category, those you can move to other categories also. This all you can manage.
Sorry, I'm talking about catalog, not category.
Category.
Look at Amazon.
Simple. I'll tell you. Simple. I'll tell you. How creating the chart of account structure. Treat the structure name. We have a structure name. Under that, we'll have a segments. Right. The same way, catalog is a title, which will be having just naming to manage your categories. You can change the name. You cannot do anything with that.
Okay.
Yep. Done. Just for identification purpose. If you are going to select one category for specific item, definitely the category should belong to so and so catalog. Okay. So you are going to select an item. The item should belongs to specific category. The category should belongs to directly to catalog. The category should belongs to parent. If the categories belongs to parent category, the parent category should belongs to catalog, or else other parent. That's how it works. Okay, done. Fine. So any other questions here, please?
Lakshman, one more clarification here.
Please.
Suppose the ERP tree item class, because on my organization I'm using one item class, ERP tree item class. So what is the purpose of the item class? Means I can define the item number, format, everything.
Setting rules. You are setting the rules to define the item. That is the item class. And you are giving the pages. Yeah.
So I can define the rules for the defining the item.
Correct.
So even the car also, the sequence, suppose I'm creating the car first number, sequence number equal to 0, 1, some format will come 1, something next time creating the books means will come to 02 something books. So the item identification number only varying, remaining that we are controlling to the category and template we are controlling.
Correct,
Am I correct?
exactly. Again,
Yeah.
one more point. Let system default the information from the item class, but you'll have always option to override, right?
Yes.
Okay, certain things you cannot override, as we discussed the number and all.
Suppose in this category, if I am defining the item class also, like ERP tree automobile item class, ERP tree stationary item class, if defining the very high level, will be much more useful. No? So
Yeah,
in
that's
this
what.
case,
Yeah, agreed. See, the same point we discussed. If you want to go with the one classification for a different category of item, okay, you can go ahead. But if you want to maintain the separate numbering and if you want to manage the information that classification category wise, you may create the item classes accordingly. But it's not that much important. Very granular level of item classes you have to create. If you find such kind of requirement, if that is organization is very large where different people, different teams will be dealing with the automobiles items and electronic items, stationary items, and different organizations, you have to define and to manage that item to associate with respect to the physical inventories and templates you are going to manage separately. If you have this kind of scenarios, yes, that may be the requirement to demand to go with the different item classes, or else very broad level you can create, may not be just one, you may create catalog based item classes. That's how you can manage. It's all about how you are going to deal with those items with item attributes and permissions and organizations and people.
yeah, in general, using the item class, we are defining some set of rules for defining the creating the item. Yeah,
Exactly, to create the item.
Yeah.
And by giving the rules as well as the permissions also, of course, you'll have a many within that. Certain rules, simply you can say certain rules. We are defining the rules with item class, including the permissions for people, organizations. Done? Fine. So this.
So is there any difference, Lakshman, when you compare to EBS?
Yeah, I'm coming to that point only. Just I'm about to say that. So see, when I talk about comparison, the people who are learning this application directly in the Fusion, those people can ignore the point. The simple point here is if you compare with EBS, in EBS to create the catalog and the category, we have a key flex fields, right? Within the key flex field, how many segments we require for catalog and category for the name definition combination. We have to create the segments within the respective. First, we have a category, key flex fields for catalog and category. Within that, we'll create the structures. So how you want to have a catalog naming convention, category naming convention, to by addressing that will create the segments. When you are creating the catalogs and category, you'll select that combination to define the category and do catalogs. Even in Fusion also we have catalogs and do categories concept, but that definitions they limited up to release 12 only. Till 12 we have. If you are going to work on Fusion release 11, release 10, or release 11 or 12, you can see catalog and category key flex fields. From release 13, they removed key flex field concept for this category and catalog. They made this catalogs and category definition as a direct definition without logic of maintaining these catalogs and categories data with key flex fields. In the key flex field, what we can do, we can create the structure, right? Take accounting key flex field, we create a chart of account structure. You take any key flex field, every key flex field allows us to maintain the data in the structured manner where you can maintain predefined data which can be used in the transaction process or any process. So instead of going with this key flex field concept in the Fusion, they introduced this catalog and category definition function which allows you to maintain the hierarchies as we discussed without logic of key flex field. Okay, So if you go with the category, if you go with the key flex fields concept, what we see in EBS or whatever they given in Fusion also in the previous versions, that is not that much flexible to maintain the hierarchies. When they removed the concept called as key flex fields for catalogs and categories, and where they introduced this catalogs and category definition as a separate definition without key flex fields, it became very flexible to manage all these. You can move for catalog categories, one category into other category, and you can make parent to child, child to parent, all you can move across. So by giving such kind of flexibility, they given catalog and category concept. If you want to create any category, you have to first create a catalog. Within the catalog only you can create the category. Within the category only you can create the child category if you want to create. Again, when you are creating the catalogs and the categories, we have certain controls really which we should understand. We'll see anyway. Okay, so just make a note of the point. We don't have key flex fields for catalog and category. And at the time of item creation also we discussed another point. In EBS we have system item key flex field where you can define segments. Within that, at the time of item creation, system will pop up that segment selection window to define the item coding or naming how you want to use, and you have to select. That's how we create the items within the EBS. But in Fusion already we have seen how to create the items without any support from key flex field, since they removed key flex fields concept in the Fusion for item definition. In the same way, for catalog and category also, there is no key flex field available within the Fusion application. Without those key flex field, we will be able to create catalogs and categories in very organized manner. We'll go and see that. Fine, let's get into the application. So to create,
Lakshman,
please.
when customers upgrade release 12 to release 13, what will happen to those key flex fields?
So take simple example, EBS 11i, you have a concept of, you have a suppliers, right? You have a suppliers, and or else let me take simple example. Okay, that's it falls under finance. Simple example. Okay, so simple. The structure.
PCI architecture.
Yeah. No. I was talking about in 11i we have invoice header and invoice distributions only. We don't have lines concept. But in R12 onwards we have lines. How, when we are doing the conversion, how that can be mapped? Header information goes to header. Invoice distribution information goes to invoice lines in R12. Again, the same lines will be defaulted as a distribution. That's how they did mapping. When you are doing the conversion, when you are upgrading, not conversion, when you are upgrading, that's how the logic will work. That's how they did the programming through patches. Here also same. This upgrade will be done by Oracle only, since it's going to be cloud. So in that case, the structure, whatever the structure you maintain with that in the release 12 or release 11 cloud environment, that would be mapped into this category and hierarchy definition automatically. That's how they written the patches. Patch is nothing but piece of code. They have a patches. The patches can map that information properly into this release 13 solution, how that categories and catalogs can be managed. Okay, that Oracle take care of. Fine. Cool. Now we'll go and see. First we'll go and create the catalog. Okay, we'll go and create the catalog. To create the catalog, go to Navigator. So within the Navigator, we have a product management section. Go to product information management. We have separate roles to get access to this product management. Other than that roles, if you have access to application implementation consultant role, that role also will give you the access to this. What are the other roles we have? We'll see. before we get into the transaction part. Okay, fine. So go to product management. Within the product management, we have a task called as product information management, PIM. PIM. Click on this task. Go to task list. Here we have a task list. Go to task list. Click on task list. From here only we created item. Now you can click on manage catalogs. Within the catalog only we can create the category. That's how automatically system will take the hierarchy. Click on manage catalogs. Okay, this is a catalog definition page. So you could see many catalogs here. The reason this instance is Vision instance. Fine. We'll create our own catalog. Click on create. Okay, you can provide the catalog name. So what catalog we can create? So we'll go and create catalog called as automobiles. Within that we'll create two categories as a direct categories without any hierarchy between that, and we'll create one more category as electronics. There we'll go with the hierarchy. Within the electronics catalog we'll have a category called as computers. Under computers we'll create child categories called as desktop and laptop. We'll test all this. Okay, first we'll go with the direct category within the catalog. With that approach we'll create the catalog. Okay, so we can give the catalog name as automobiles. So we'll give the name as ERP3 automobiles. Copy the same name. Just tab out, it will default catalog name as catalog code, and the same catalog name you can copy and paste here. Okay, paste here. Now we are creating catalog to control at what level? Master level or organization level. If you select catalog here, for this catalog, if you select controlled at master level, what happens is we'll assign this catalog, and within the catalog what are the categories we are going to create, those categories will assign to specific item. When you assign that items to specific, when you assign these categories to specific item, since this catalog is controlled at master level, automatically when you are assigning to item means items will maintain at master level will create. So if this catalog is master level, within this catalog what are the items categories we create, if any category if you are going to assign to any item, this category and that catalog, this catalog and that category will get assigned to master as well as child. If you set controlled at organization level, within this catalog, say you are going to create one category called as car. The car category you are going to assign to any one of the item called as, say, Honda car. When you assign, it won't get defaulted to organization level. It will be applied. The category and catalog and category, whatever we are assigning to the item, that would reflect up to item master only. And organization level, manually you have to select. It won't default to organization. We'll be testing that. We'll go through in our classes. Okay. So it may not be very clear if you discuss just by looking at the value. We'll test it. You can understand. Fine. So anyway, just here control at master level. That means within this catalog, what are the item you are within this catalog, what are the category you are going to create. If you assign that category to any item, automatically the catalog and category would get defaulted to item master and actual inventory also. And the start date and all, it's quite common. And assign items to leaf level categories only. That means if you take example of this, electronics is catalog, within that categories computers, under that we have these two subcategories, means these are lowest level. Okay, lowest level category is desktop and laptops. We can assign the items to these categories only. These categories only you can associate with the items. This cannot be associated because these two we call as leaf level, lowest level. If you have a hierarchy, you have a catalog. Within the catalog, if you are going to have the direct categories, those only we call as lowest level. Within the categories, if you are going to have hierarchy, leaf level means lowest level of category, we treat as a leaf level. By default, system is selecting assign items to leaf level category only. If this checkbox is enabled, okay, the items we can assign to only to desktop or laptop. If I disable the checkbox and if I create this catalog, and within that what are the categories we create, if those categories are going to manage this kind of hierarchy, since we are not restricting assign items to only leaf level categories, we are not restricted, system will allow us to assign the items to computers also. Okay, that means it's a parent category. Parent category level also you can assign the items. The child category level also you can assign the items if you disable it. If you enable, system will allow you to assign the items only leaf level. Leaf level means lowest level. Okay, so that is the meaning of this control. And allow multiple item category assignments. So take this example. This is a catalog. Within the catalog we have a parent category called as computers. Within that we have these two categories. I have one item called as XYZ. If this XYZ item I want to assign to desktop and to laptops. Okay, reality we don't do. If there is such kind of business scenario in the different categories, there may be business requirement which you have to do. If you want to assign here, your requirement is same item you have to assign to multiple categories which are in the same catalog. That is your requirement. If you enable the checkbox, system will allow you. Allow multiple items. Okay, multiple item. Allow multiple item category assignments. That means this item you can assign to multiple categories which are within the same catalog. Ideally not required. If required, we enable. That is the reason Oracle also keeping this checkbox as a unchecked. If you see the business requirement for our client, you may enable. If you keep like this item you can assign to any one of the category within the item catalog, or else you take this example. You create one item, so and so item, it could be any item, any just vehicle. If you assign that if you assign that item to bikes category, you cannot assign to cars because both are in the same catalog. Within the catalog, if you want to assign item to only one category, keep as is. If you have a requirement, some exceptional cases, if you have a requirement of assigning the same item is going to fall under different categories, again those categories are falls under same catalog, then you should enable, then only system will allow you. So if you make this catalog as a public, so we are creating this catalog, only we want to see, we want to manage this catalog, means disable public. If you enable public, who has access to the catalog view? We have a privileges. Through roles will give the privileges to the users. So the roles which you are assigning to the users, okay, within the roles, if they have a provision called as view catalog, okay, view catalogs function, then those people will be able to view this catalog since you are making as a public. If you want to keep private, in the sense the person who is creating, they want to see and they want to manage, you can disable public. Ideally we go with a public option with other users who are working the same organization require access to this. Okay, so these are the points we have to understand, because these points are very much important when you are dealing with this catalog and within that categories. Any question here to understand any point, please? We'll be testing. I'll show you by changing the value how it works. We'll see by disabling how it works, by enabling how it works. We'll be testing in the class itself. Okay, fine, done. Now say save and continue. System will allow you to create the categories within this. So catalog name is ERP tree automobiles. Within this you can create n number of categories. Fine. So what categories we want to create? Cars and bikes. So click on create category. Okay. Category name is cars. You can copy the name. The same category name system will default as a category code. You don't need to enter code, it will take, and you can write description. Okay, start date and end date. If you don't want to use this category after some time, you can give the date from which date onwards this category should not be visible to assign or use somewhere. Okay, done. And there is one control here, restrict category to assign category to item assignment only. Okay, item assignment only. So we have the same similar control in EBS also, if you remember. What we can assign to, the category to item assignment only. So what we can assign other than items to category? What you can assign?
Item.
No, other than item. Say you have one category, to that category what you can associate? Primarily items we associate, which items should fall under that category we associate. Along with the items, what we can associate with the categories?
Another category, like subcategory
That
kind
is the
of.
point. Just now we discussed the hierarchy. So we have this computers, this is a category. Within that you can associate, you can have child categories. That means we can associate other categories. Okay, and we discussed about one control also. Okay, leaf level, if you enable only this level you can assign the items. If you don't enable any level you can assign. So now within this category, the category you are creating the cars, within this category if you enable restrict category to assign item assignments only, if you enable the checkbox, within the cars you cannot create subcategory also. It would become leaf category, lowest category. That level only you can assign just items. You can assign items. System won't give you the option to create the subcategory. That is the meaning of it. Okay, if I enable, this will become lowest level of category. Within this category cars you cannot create subcategory. Since it's the lowest level, and catalog level we enabled one checkbox called as allow lowest level item assignments. So this cars, this level only you can associate items. If you don't enable, you can associate items with this category, you can associate other categories with this category. That means within this category you can create subcategories. That is the meaning of restrict category to item assignments only. We'll test this also. We'll be testing. Don't need to worry about it. Okay, we are creating one category. Say okay.
And category name and category code, I mean, which will be we are using while
This
assigning to
category
item?
code just for name only will be using all the time. Okay, name only will be using. Okay, code, it's just for short name, that's all. Name only. Okay, primarily name only will be finding the process. Wherever we'll be selecting the values. It's anyway, system will display the code and all. Code for your convenience when you are just dealing with the category. Ideally, just you can go with the name and code same. Won't makes any difference. Okay, within this catalog, we created one category, and we want to create one more category. So simply you can click on create, and before that I'll save this. Done. So now click on create category.
Lakshman, one clarification. Lakshman. Yeah, assign item to leaf level category. That is, what is the impact of this one actually? Suppose that if we enabling that one.
Sorry.
While creating the catalog, we are giving checkbox like assign item to leaf level category.
In this session itself, I'll be covering that. I'll be covering that after completing. Still, if your question is open, we'll discuss. Yeah.
Okay. Lakshman.
Certain things after doing only we get the clarification. Yeah. We'll see that. We'll do that after this relevant discussions. After completing the relevant discussions, still your question is open, you can raise, we'll discuss. Okay, so we are going to create one more category, that is bikes. Say okay. Then we created two categories. Save it. Done. Now if you want to change this category related name and other information, here you can go to details. Category select, catalog is selected, go to details, click on details. The definition time, what information we given, those system is displaying here. You can change the name or code or description or the controls. You can change the controls. Out of the two categories what we have within this catalog, one you can select as default, and the assignments you cannot change once you create the catalog. Okay, what level items need to be assigned, we specify leaf level. Once you specify, done. Based on that, it will allow us to create the categories. So after creating the categories, so you cannot change this. And this anyway, it's open. If you want to allow multiple item assignments to different categories within the same catalog, still we have option. If you make, it will allow, otherwise it won't allow to assign one item to multiple categories within the same catalog. Public, this all remains same. Additional information means DFF, descriptive flex field. For catalog level, you can create the descriptive flex field. That information, the fields and all system will open here and you can select. And if you want to assign some attachments which supports this catalog related information or any other relevant information, documents which will be useful or required to maintain, those you can assign here. You can add the categories, attachments here. Fine, that's how you can do. Now if you want to associate, these items, these categories to specific items, so what you can do is just click on this record. Click on this record. From here you can associate items to this category. You can associate multiple categories to one item. When you are creating the transaction, all categories would be available to select, but one only will be selecting, right? So what is the name we given for items which we created? Search for any one of the item. Fine, these are the item. So we have items called as test item 1, test item 2, test item 3. These are the description, this is item number. I am just assigning to this item. This item I am associating with this category. Say apply and OK. Save it. Okay. The catalog is master control. The items from child organizations will be allowed automatically after the catalog is saved. That means, so item level, item master level, we set the master control we given. So this would be impacted to item master organization also. So this organization is ERP item. That means this item is created and maintained at master level. But since the catalog is maintained at master level, this would reflect to the actual inventory also. We'll go and see that. And we'll associate item to this category also. Search for any item. Just for testing, I want to associate different item. Test item 2. Now go to this test item 1 or test item 2 and you can understand what is the meaning of controlling at master level. Right? Here we given master level control, right? So save and close. Now go to item. Before that, what we could do is say done, and we can publish. We have to publish it so that system will be generating the results of output of the definition. Fine. Now just let's go to manage items. The item description is test item 1 and 2. For both we assign different categories. Click on search. Click on item number. Go to associations where this item we assign to organizations. Okay, for this organization we didn't assign any actual inventory. Okay, fine. So this we cannot use for the testing. What we'll do is we'll go and assign to the other item, which item is associated with the actual inventory also. We have MacBook, right? That we can use. Go to manage catalogs. Okay. Go to search. Catalog. ERP tree. Click on that. Even it's a relevant category, just for testing purpose, what I want to do is I want to assign MacBook. It's a number right here. For MacBook item, we associated with the actual inventory also. Done. say save and close. Now how it would reflect, because it is master level control catalog. Within the master level control catalog, what are the category we have that we associate with our item, how it will impact. So this is item, click on item. Go to associations. So this is item master. If you go to categories, you could see the categories associated. Okay, this is a catalog, ERP3, automobiles, and bikes we associated with this item. The same it is coming here. But this catalog is controlled at item master. If it is controlled at item master, automatically that would be defaulted to the actual inventory also. You click on this actual inventory, dollars. So item which is associated with this dollars inventory. Here if you go to categories, the same would get defaulted. We didn't assign, only we assign to the item. Item means it would be at master. So that is getting defaulted to the actual real inventory also. So because it is controlled at master level. See here, this ERP3 automobile set controlled at master level. Now I'll create one more catalog and just one category within that by setting controlled at item organization level. Before that, we'll go and create one more item. So for testing, we need a few items. We'll just go and create it. Create item. We'll create few items so that we can use for testing. So I want to create 4 items. So use any one of the template. So I'm using finished good template. Say OK. I'll give the description as item 1. So unit of measurement is each. Go with association. I think item people. These are defaulted. We'll fill just information for all, then we'll do it. Item 2. Sorry. For this, we have to set the specifications. This is item we're defining. Set this mandatory parameter. Each item people. Just place cursor here automatically, that will get defaulted. And item 3. Active.
That means we are creating items here, item 1, 2, 3.
Correct. We already completed this, right, in the previous class. Okay, how to
Yeah.
create multiple items at a time. We tested, right? The same again I am doing. We need few more items.
But we are giving description manually, right? Without giving automatically.
Normally also we create like that, or else we can set a rule. We set a rule for item class level. This item class level manual description, right? I'm not sure whether you attended that classes or not. We selected that option.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Just make sure that the permissions we are getting. Done. We'll go with one by one. Item 1. Go to associations, where we can associate this item to dollars inventory. Further different concepts testing purpose also we can use the items, so that is the reason we are creating multiple items for different scenarios testing. So assign this item to the actual inventory. Something is missing for this. Okay, so what happened, we provided these specifications or not? Unit of measurement we didn't provide here. Associations, since we didn't provide unit of measurement, it system did not take. So remove and assign. Delete this assignment. So before specifying the unit of measurement, we done assignment. So that is the reason it is not deriving unit of measurement. Select, say apply. Now it will derive the unit of measurement what we specified. And we have one more item. It is item 4. Already we given specifications. Sorry, overview. Specification of unit of measurement is done. Go to associations. Think item people. Yep. Now go to associations. Let me save. For last item, we didn't assign. Okay. Click on item number. Go to associations. assign this item to actual inventory. Done. Fine. So just now we tested if you have a catalog which is controlled at master level, what happens if you associate that category related any that I mean if you maintain catalog which is controlled at master level, within that catalog what are the category you have those, if you are going to associate with any item, that catalog and category would reflect to actual inventory also. Fine. Now we'll go on to create one catalog which is controlled at organization level. Okay. Just say create catalogs. Task name is manage catalogs, and say create so catalog name is ERP3 org catalog. So set at organization level. Say save and continue. Create category. You can provide computer one category name just to differentiate. Already I think we assigned relevant. We may assign, that is the reason just giving the name as computer one, or you can write as a computer. Say OK. Now select this category, go to assign. We are assigning this category to item. Which item? Item 1. Say OK. So we assign this category to this item. This category is a part of this catalog, where catalog is managed at organization level. So save and close. Now go to this item tab. Yes, search for item called as item 1. Now that assignment would reflect at only item master level. If you go to categories, item level means item master. Okay, so that is reflecting here, org catalog. Master level it would reflect. It won't reflect to associated organizations. Go to this dollars organization. It won't default because the category which we assign to the item, the category is within the catalog, where the catalog is maintained at organization level. If you go to categories for the specific organization, you don't see that. If you want to assign, you can assign. From here you have to assign. It won't default. If you want to assign, you can assign it. This is how you can assign if you want to assign. So whatever the items, within the catalog, what are the categories you are going to have, when you associate that category with any item, that should reflect to actual inventory also along with item master. Then you can set it control at master level. If you want to limit this assignment automatically only item master level, set to organization level. So organization level, if you set, it won't get default from master to actual inventories. If you want to select, you can select. That's how you can manage. Okay, So that is the meaning of the catalog level control.
Lakshman, after creating the category at the org level, can we assign that category
You can
to the inventory org rather than master org?
Sorry.
If you create the category like
Yes.
catalog at org level,
Assignment, manual assignment, you can do the control just for defaulting purpose.
got you.
Okay, you can do that. You can do that any level. You can assign. It's a manual process. Will allow you. But it's all about defaulting logic. We are trying to understand. Okay, done. Now we'll create one more catalog. ERP tree new catalog. So control at what level, that already we tested. Now we'll see this, or else we'll go with this naming convention. We'll test this. Computers. We'll create the electronics. Catalog name is electronics. So that we can understand how we can create the hierarchy. These are all keep as is. Create category. If you take this simple example, first we'll create the category called as computers. Say okay. So now under computers we have to maintain this two child categories. If you want to create these child categories under this, what we have to do is since system is giving the hyperlink here, if you click on this, this will open inside of these computers. You can create those child categories as laptop and desktop. Just click on this category name. So within this catalog, okay, within this ERP tree electronics catalog, we have a category called as computers. Within the computers, we are going to create the subcategories. So create category. So what we have, two categories we have, desktop and laptop. Say okay. And we want to maintain one more category, that is laptop. Say okay. So again within the desktop, if you want to have some subcategory, yes, you can just click on this. It will allow you to create. Save it. Okay, say save and close. This is what we created, ERP tree electronics. See, system is showing the hierarchy here. Hierarchy is showing. If you click on this, inside what we have, you can see. Instead of clicking on this, seeing all those, you can go with the hierarchy view. This is just list view. Go to hierarchy view. It will show the hierarchy which you can expand and see. So this is a catalog. Expand the catalog. Within this catalog, we have a category called as computers. If you expand within this, what are the subcategories you have, you can see that. So this is a hierarchy you can create. If you want to create within the desktop some other category, what you have to do is simple, switch this view. One second. We can change the view from hierarchy to list. So computers. Click on computers. Within that we have two subcategories. Still you want to have further categorization for desktops. Click on this, create. Maybe desktops also are classifying. Say okay. Save it. Save and close. So within this catalog, we have a category called as computers. If we expand computers, within that we have desktop and laptop. Desktops have further classification. If you click on desktop, within that what other subcategory we have? Desktop classification 1. This is how you can associate. Okay. So just click on the catalog name. Done. So this is how you can create the hierarchy for categories which you are going to maintain within the catalog. Now, if you notice here, this is a catalog, ERP3 Electronics. Within the ERP3 Electronics, we created a category called as computers. System is allowing us to click on this. And again, here we have another subcategory. It is allowing us to click on this. It is allowing us to click on this. The reason how you created a category with which control, that is a matter. See here. So let's click on this. So this is a catalog. I'm going to create one more category within this catalog, and if I enable the checkbox within that category, you cannot create one more category. See here, I'll create one more category called as mobiles. So I'm going to enable restrict category to item assignments only. When it is going to be item assignment, within this further categories are not allowed. Enable the checkbox and say OK. Now see, the open option is disabled. For item, if you click on item, it is not allowing. Computers you created, it is allowing giving hyperlink. The reason, okay, the reason if you select computers category, select computers category. If you go to details, how we created that category, you can see. For that restrict category to item assignment only, we didn't enable. But if you look at this category and the details, you can see we enabled. If you disable, this also will allow you to create the further categories, child categories inside. That means now you can assign the items only to this category. Only to this category. You cannot have any further categories definition. That is the meaning of restrict category to item assignment only. That means it is becoming leaf level, lowest level. Since there is no option to create the category, the whatever the least level, that is system is considering this, there is no option to create new categories inside of this. That is the meaning of restrict category to item assignments only. Now I will create one new catalog and we'll look at those controls, other controls. Create catalog. So what name we can take? Stationery. Better we can give prefix as ERP3. assign item to leaf level category only. Okay, this is by default enabled. I'm disabling it. Say save and do continue. I'll create category. Categories Oracle books. Say okay. Here for this catalog level, assign items to leaf level category only. Leaf level only need to be assigned. That's how the checkbox is enabled or disabled. That means any level you can assign the items. So within this, as of now, only one category we have under this catalog. This is a leaf. And within this, if you create one more category, that category will become leaf level. The above one won't become leaf, that will become parent. Again, within that Oracle books, I want to have a sub classification as Oracle SCM books. So now you can select this. You can assign the items here. Let me save this. Go to catalog. Within the catalog, this is not leaf level, right? Oracle books is not leaf level, it's a parent. Select it. Here also you can assign the item. Not only leaf level, if you are going to have category hierarchy, any level, if you want to allow the system to assign the items, you can disable this checkbox. The items, other categories, whatever you created for those that is enabled, right, will go with electronics. Here also we have hierarchy. So do you think this is a leaf level? Computers is leaf level? No, it's a parent. So do you see the item assignment enabled? No. The reason, if you go to details of this catalog, assign items to leaf level categories only. This computers is not leaf level. This is parent. If you click on computers, here laptop is leaf level. It doesn't have further hierarchy. You can assign. But desktop is not leaf level. Within the desktop, you create a desktop classification as a 1, right? Here hierarchy is there. You select it. This desktop level also you cannot you cannot assign this category to any item. So it's disabled because only leaf level is set as a control for this. So click on this. Within this leaf level category, you can see. You can assign. So that is the meaning of that only leaf level. Fine. Now we'll create one more catalog. What name we can give? Any name we can give. So we'll test this. Allow multiple item category assignments. Okay. So now it is not enabled. It is not enabled. We'll use the existing category. So all we created without enabling only, right? Allow multiple item category assignments. If you enable, then one item can be associated to multiple categories within the same catalog. what is the first catalog we created? I think that we can use. Computers we created, right? Computers, no. Fine, you can go with automobiles. Okay, we have bikes and cars. Select this. Okay, we'll assign an item. We'll assign this item to this category. So item 2. Item 2 we are assigning or associating with the bikes. For bikes, we assigned item called as item 2. Save it. In the same catalog, we have one more category called as cars. Okay, one more category called as cars. If I want to assign same item to this catalog category, which is a part of same catalog, system won't accept. You may have a business scenario to assign, but it won't accept. It is showing, but finally it won't accept. Say apply and say OK. Taken. Ultimately, it should not accept. Just click on save. It will verify the controls at catalog level. Items cannot be assigned to multiple categories for this catalog because the catalog is configured for single assignment category assignment only. Here, if you go to details of this catalog, it is saying not allowed. Cancel. No, no, save, no. Remove this assignment. 1 second. Say no. This is an issue. Remove. Just refresh this navigation. Now, if you have a requirement of assigning one item to multiple categories, that you have to set at catalog level, then it will allow. Just based on what we are going to test, I'm giving the catalog name. Here are pretty multiple items. That means one item can be assigned to multiple categories if you enable the checkbox. Create 2 categories. Since we are testing and we have seen how to create and all, you can give any name. Category name is 1. Category name is 2. So assign one item to this category 1. Say okay. So item 1 is assigned to category 1. Save it. The same item I want to maintain in category 2 also. Yes, possible. Since catalog level you given that permission to this catalog to maintain the items, one item across multiple categories also. So select category 2, assign item, same item which you assign to category 1. Since we given that permission at catalog level, it should accept. Hello, save it. This catalog is master controlled item child organization will be added automatically. Yeah, that message already we tested. So now it is accepted. Check catalog category 1. You have item 1. Check category 2. You have item 1. Since it's a control, this catalog is controlled at item level. So for child organizations also, this catalog will be category will be assigned automatically. That already we tested this. That is the reason 2 records it's showing. One for item master, one for child. Here the naming convention, some format is missing. So that's the reason you cannot see here. This is item master, this is Dallas inventory. Fine. And again, you go to catalogs. Say you have catalog called as what we give in electronics. So electronics, expand this. So you want to move this category into another category. Yes, you can do that. Just select laptop and here you have a move category. Click on move. That you want to move into which parent category. Okay. This is not parent, this is child only. If you move these laptops into this will become parent and one more hierarchy will be established. Or else you can move this to other, which is desktop. You may want to move this under desktop, or else within the desktops you have a child category called as desktop classification 1. You may want to move laptops under that. Reality not true, but just for understanding we are talking about this point. Okay, this is a laptop, that is a desktop. We don't do it, but just I want to move this under this category which is there within the desktops. Say okay, smooth. Now click on desktop, click on this. Within this we have a laptop. Okay, so this is how just you can move across within the same catalog. So that's how just you can manage with this catalogs. Again, for category level also you can set up this details. Say for example, you created a category called as bikes. However, for catalog level you can change these controls. Okay, change these controls which are applicable. Okay, you can do for catalog in the same way. Category also, category level also, if you want to do, yes, you can do it. Select bikes, it's one of the category. For this also you can go to details. Okay, here you can change the catalog category name, and if you want to restrict these controls, whatever we have option to set up at the time of creation, the same is available here to change and to manage. And if you want to associate any attachments, those could be images or files which are related to this category, yes, here you can attach. However, you can assign to catalog level you can maintain, and category, it could be parent or child or subchild or anything. All the levels will be able to manage this information. If you go to any item, go to items. Go to any item. Here go to categories. So this category catalog and this category we assign to this item. Okay, we assign this category to this item. So this category is part of this catalog, so that is getting defaulted. Okay, done. So what about other catalogs and categories which are getting assigned to this item? How these all we didn't assign? How system is taking here? How it happens in EBS? If you have an understanding about how it works in EBS.
Default category.
Yeah, we have a separate setup. Okay. So I created simple point. I created this item MacBook. There could be a number of default categories which you configured in the system, but it taken only 1, 2, 3, 4. Why it is taking only these 3? There may be a number of categories and catalogs which you set as a default. Why it is taking only these 4?
Probably it is taking each one at each catalog level.
No. That is not the point. So what system will do is you might have specified a number of catalogs and categories in the system as a default, but it is taking only 4. The reason is the item which you created based on the template which you selected, this item belongs to these 4 functional areas only. Planning parameters are specified, purchasing parameters, inventory parameters, and product reporting parameters. So based on when you create the item, when you assign the template, within the template that item belongs to which functional areas, in which applications, or in which functional process we are going to use. Accordingly, system will identify the functional area related default catalogs and categories are already set to default. Those only it will derive. We'll go and see where you can set that. Search for the task called as functional areas. Let me open in the different window or tab. Search for the task called as functional areas. Task name is manage functional area catalogs. Here you can set that defaults. So these are the functional areas. Item, you are creating item. Within that item, the inventory attributes are enabled with the help of your template, or else manually you are going to set inventory attributes. So inventory, the default catalog is selected as a INV items. That's what is got defaulted. Planning also it got defaulted. And you are going to create item. Okay, you are going to create item. For the item is going to have some attributes which are related to some product development. When item has product development attributes, If you want system to default any catalog, for that you have to select this here. Nothing is set here. Even if you create item by specifying some product development attributes, it won't assign. It won't assign because the functional area called as product development, you didn't set any default catalog. So if you want to default, when you have a product development attributes for your item, you have to assign. Select functional area and specify your catalog. Select your catalog. Okay, that you can select. Just here the product development catalogs are not defined. So save and close. So this is how you have to set. For all these already these are set. So that is the reason wherever when you are creating item, within that item, which functional area related attributes are included, for those functional areas, any default category set here, it will take automatically. Again, catalog level also, for each catalog, which is a default category also you can set. So whenever you select that catalog, automatically system will default that category to that catalog selection. Here default category for this catalog. Okay, maybe whenever you choose this, whenever you are choosing this catalog, system has to automatically, it should take as a category as a 2. 2 is appropriate category for that assignment. You can accept, or else you can change to other category wherever you assign. Say for item you are manually assigning, whenever you select this catalog, first you have to select the catalog to select the category. If you set like this, when you select this at item level, it will come automatically. Category system will take as a 2. You can override it, just default it. That's all. Okay, so this is all about the catalog and category. When we are creating the transaction, we'll be selecting this. This can be used for reporting purpose and to manage and many other controls in the respective business processes. We'll see that usage and all we'll see when we are working on the processes. So but just to understand about this is the point. Okay, so whenever you create the catalog, just you submit for publishing. It will produce the report. After creating the catalog, select and click on publish. It will produce the definition report. So this is the one. Here within this we have a 2 categories. Category name, cars category, and association. This is nothing. This is other categories. Category name is bikes. Okay, which items are assigned to this category? The same way for this category, only one item is assigned. All the details, whatever you could see by navigating all through these tabs and all, instead of going through that, simple report you can generate. Okay, and you could see here the report output, how it should come. Okay, HTML or PDF, it will generate the file, PDF file, and PowerPoint presentation and all. You can select it, click on go, it will again produce the report with that respective format. So this is all about catalog and category. So we almost done with the setups which are basic and required. So in tomorrow's session we'll discuss about what are the various inventory related transactions we can perform within the inventory. We'll try to understand theoretically. Once we are okay with that concepts in terms of understanding, we'll see the same in the system. For which concepts additional setups are required, those will do and perform those transactions. Which transactions we can perform directly based on the basic setups which we completed, will do immediately then and there. Okay, so no additional configurations required, we'll be testing directly. So any questions on today's session, please.